Raman,
Yes, Andre.
there is a new high-performance off-road pickup truck in town, and it's called the Ram RHO.
Andre, I've got a lot of questions, my man. A lot of questions, and hopefully you can answer them for me.
Well, I went hands-on with it. I was in Detroit, in Michigan, and I saw it and I sat in it.
So, where's
Yes.
that video?
That video is on TFL Truck, but also you could find it on oldtfl.com.
So, could you just give me a brief synopsis of what the RHO is? And then I'm going to ask you a bunch of hard questions.
Yeah, and I think we have varying, slightly different opinions on this.
Yes, well, that's my kind way of saying that by saying I have questions.
Okay. So first of all, it's a 2025 model, right? So for 2025, Ram has redesigned, maybe not greatly, but redesigned, I mean, not that deeply, but their entire Ram 1500 lineup. And now this truck, they've rumored for a long time, and now we know what it is. It's basically a TRX because it looks very similar to the TRX.
It's their Halo truck.
It's their Halo truck now. The TRX, as we know it, is being retired. So the 2024 TRX is with the big V8, with supercharged V8, kind of finished production. It's in the bag. Most people who ordered it already should have it. Now this RHO is now their new Halo. It's got a twin turbo straight six Hurricane engine underneath the hood, but it's a wide body truck on 35s with Bilstein shocks. That's what it is.
How much horsepower?
540, my friend.
All right, well, let's start with the questions.
Okay.
So, why did they build a TRX with less power?
They're not calling this the TRX.
I get that.
And I don't work for Ram. I can just relate to you what I was told. They're not calling it a TRX replacement. They're basically saying, hey, we wanted to build this truck. We're going to call it something new. It's RHO.
But why didn't they just stick with the TRX name? Why are they... First of all, what does RHO stand for?
We don't know. I asked Ram.
Removed Hellcat option?
No.
That's what the meme is.
No, it's not removed.
Really
Hellcat.
high output?
Ram high output. But
Why? Why?
It's inspired by this.
A Rhino.
A Rhino. Do you see it?
Why are you creating an entirely new brand when you have a perfectly good brand called the TRX?
Okay.
Why did they decide to confuse the market by going with a different name?
I don't know. Maybe they're still waiting. Maybe they have something else in the bag for the TRX. But
Fair.
I think I know. This truck, in my mind, goes straight up against the F-150 Raptor. And I'm not talking about the Raptor R. I'm talking about the base F-150 Raptor that's on sale right now. And it's actually been renewed for 2024. The new F-150 Raptor has a twin-turbo V6, 450 horsepower. It's got a wide body, long travel suspension, and 35s or 37s. And it has 450 horsepower. This RHO has more power, same basically, kind of wide body suspension, really advanced suspension, really great interior, a lot of high-tech features. It's got more power than the Raptor F-150, and it's going to be cheaper. They're going to undercut it on price.
By how much?
By about $9,000, my friend.
So you're saying what they built was a Raptor that's $9,000 cheaper.
With more power.
Okay.
Yes. This has 90 more horsepower than the F-150 Raptor. So if I was Ford right now, I'm probably rethinking my position on the F-150 Raptor, maybe adding more horsepower to it, removing price, because as it stands, the RHO could out-accelerate the Ford F-150 Raptor. We don't know this for sure yet. But I think Ford is in the pickle now.
I don't think Ford's in a pickle because they have a Raptor R, Andre. So if there was no Raptor R, maybe they would be in a pickle. And let's face it, the TRX didn't compete with the Raptor. It competed with the Raptor R. So
Yes.
now they built something that they renamed, which people don't understand why it's a RHO, that is competing with the Raptor. But, like you said, if I know Ford, it doesn't take a lot for them to turn up the wick on a twin turbo V6, right? So they could easily sprinkle a little bit of magic fairy dust on it,
But
add 50 more horsepower, drop the price because they've been building them forever, and all of a sudden now you've got this vehicle that is probably directly competing with a Raptor. But my question, and the question that I can't get past is, do I lust for this vehicle? And the answer is no. I mean, I feel like what they did was they took something that was aspirational and they didn't build the Raptor R first, right? They built the Raptor first and then they built on top of it. What they did with this vehicle is they detuned the TRX in a way and made a vehicle that is cheaper, yes, less powerful, yes, and more affordable, but much more or much less aspirational and much more plain Janey. And that's my first problem.
Okay, that's your second
If
problem.
I'd been Ram, what I would have done, right,
Yes.
is I would have kept the TRX name, kept the six-cylinder, thrown some electrification at it, and came back with a TRX, which people know what it is, with 800 horsepower. Let's say this thing makes 500.
Like hybridized Hurricane.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Electrified, add 300 horsepower from an electric motor, and now you've got a truck that I want, and I'm super interested in. The other thing that we have learned over time is that to have a super truck, you need three things,
Yes.
right? First and foremost, you have to have a big, powerful engine.
Check Hurricane.
It doesn't. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not big or powerful enough. You can't go from over 700 to down to 500. You're going the wrong way. So it doesn't have that.
Okay.
Then you have to have basically styling that somehow is sexy and Baja-y and off-roady and really makes you lust after it. This has that styling, but it's too reminiscent of the TRX. I kind of feel like I've been there and done that. So I'm going to give them a half a point for that.
Okay.
And then you have to have, suspension that is, Baja truck worthy. So active Fox or active Multimatic, whatever you want to use. And I feel like they just kept the same old suspension instead of.
It's a Bilstein. It's a really fancy suspension.
I know,
dude.
but they should have gone with let's give it, 0.5 more of an inch in terms of travel or 0.5 of an inch in terms of the shock width. Something that makes me want that. Right now, in my head, I look at that and I look at a used TRX and I'm like, I'm going to buy the used TRX.
Okay.
That's really what it's competing against.
I see it slightly differently.
Okay, fair.
I agree with you on one point. The styling of the RHO, the way we see it here, especially launching in the silver color, which is not super exciting in my book, it's identical to the TRX. I know they have new headlamps, right? But other than that, I mean, I know it's new because I'm in the industry. But if you put them both together on the same street, most people won't tell the difference, right, between them. Yeah, one may say RHO on the bed, the other one says TRX on the bed, but other than that, I think they should have done something different for the styling for the RHO. They did not. I think that's a miss. I think the Hurricane engine, I've driven it. Well, you've driven it too. I mean, it's in the Grand Wagoneer. It's also in the other Ram 1500 high output trucks. I think that engine is a gem. It's a straight six. 540 horsepower, I think, is plenty for most people. Whether it's aspirational, I guess we have to hear it. We have to drive it, see how, if it's fire breathing enough. In the suspension, I think it's fine. I mean, the TRX suspension was good before. The RHO suspension will be still great.
Yeah, I understand all that. And that's kind of the left brain speaking, right? Or your head
What's
speaking.
the price?
My heart, though, does not want that vehicle. I feel like I would be going backwards, right? It's like any high performance halo vehicle has to always be better than the previous one. Tesla just put out a new Model 3 Performance, and it went from about 3.5 seconds or 60 to about 2.8. They didn't, make it go slower. They made it go faster. And the reason they did that is because all the people with the current performance now want the new performance. I'm wondering if all the people with the TRX are going to want that. You're saying that the people who want the Raptor are going to want that. But to me, the TRX has always been, they kind of painted themselves into a corner, the aspirational, the halo truck of the brand. And now they kind of built, a cheaper Raptor fighter. Nothing wrong with that, but there's not a lot for me that says, I want that thing. I feel like they've gone and stepped backwards instead of forward. I don't think that they've used, the technology. They haven't improved anything. All they've done is basically taken the TRX and pulled out the cool supercharged V8 and stuck in, a less powerful twin turbo V6. Yeah.
i6.
Sorry. It is a straight six. Yep. And that's why it's hard for me to woohoo, there's a new super truck in town, because it doesn't feel like it's a super truck. It feels like a step backwards.
Well, here's my point of view. Over the last year, we've been doing stories at TFLtruck.com, right? The final edition TRX, $118,000 price.
Yeah, but how else do
The-
you know it's good?
$118,000 for most mortals. That's way outside.
That's why Red Bull's so expensive. How else? That was his whole shtick.
This is 71,000, Roman.
Right,
It's,
but
it's almost. It now becomes. I will never have one. To oh my gosh, if I have a bonus next year, I could probably reach and get this truck.
yeah, but that doesn't gender or create the kind of like lustworthiness that you want for a halo vehicle. That creates a whole different dynamic in people, and that is I can stretch to that, but I couldn't stretch to the other one. And to me, the TRX or the top dog vehicle should never be I can stretch to it. And now that I can stretch to it, I can afford it, because the fact that you're stretching to it and then you can afford it makes it, at the end of the day, less desirable in a lot of ways.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And if it was any, maybe that's why they're calling it the RHO, because there is a TRX coming, and there will be something more fire breathing.
And we kind of asked several journalists. We asked Ram, is the next TRX, when is it coming? What is it going to be? And Ram was a little bit nebulous about this. They said, TRX name is not going away, but they wouldn't say anything else like what they're working on, when it's coming, and what it's going to be like.
And the other example I would point to is Chevy, right? Chevy has never had a true Raptor competitor. You could argue that the Hummer EVs, and they argue that, but let's face it, people who want electric vehicles are different for the most part than people who want internal combustion engines. So the two, in my mind, don't necessarily equate. And what Chevy has tried to do is build basically a Raptor competitor without the powerful
The white
engine.
body.
Yeah, without
Or the powerful engine.
Or the powerful engine, right? You've got the V6, 450 horsepower, and it just doesn't have the same magic that the Raptor has because of that. Because there's three things you need, right? You need a wide body, you need great suspension, and you need a lot of horsepower. And these guys got like 1.5 of that. And I think that's the problem at the end of the day. For a super truck to be a super truck, it has to have all three. And to go from having 800 horsepower, or actually 700, sorry, to having only 500 feels like you're going the wrong way and it's a letdown. And I wonder if that's the way that the commenters feel, or if they feel like you do, where now it's affordable and you've always lusted for a Raptor and you can't reach for a Raptor, and now you can reach for an RHO. But like I say, that's a dangerous game you're playing, because Ford plays for keeps in the truck world. And I think Ford would have no issues in boosting the power and lowering the price of the Raptor if they feel that this is going to take market share away from them. And I think that the guys at Ram know that too.
Yeah, they do. And so I'm actually, I really want to see what Ford, what the next step is, right? Because now we have the RHO. I wonder what, by the way, the RHO, you could order it now. Basically, orders are open in April. It comes on sale in third quarter, Q3 of 2024. So Ford has a little bit of time if they want to, answer this somehow, if anything.
I actually feel like the truck that's going to take sales away from, besides the TRX, which obviously
is the Rebel.
No, is the new Tacoma TRD Pro and Trail Hunter.
They're not that far away in price.
Exactly, because we understand, they've announced pricing for both of those trucks, and they're,
TRD Pro is $65,000.
Exactly, and now you're just
$71,000.
$6,000 away from basically a full-size truck with,
a lot more horsepower.
More lift, more capability, more muscle, in essence.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if people who are like, hey, maybe instead of getting a TRD Pro, I'm going to go and get myself an RHO. I think that's kind of the people who might be worried, the guys and gals over at Toyota.
Right. Well, I want to see the comments on this video, because I want to see what people think. Are you interested in buying this one?
Here's something we learned yesterday.
Yes.
And this video is over up at All TFL as well. Me and Andre went shopping to try to find the cheapest all-wheel drive car in
our region, in our city.
We went to a bunch of different dealers, and one of the dealers we went to was a Toyota dealer, and we were shocked to see that they had something like 20 or maybe even more Tacoma sitting on the lot, all white for some reason.
All white, all SR5, which is the base model. One of the base models.
One of the base. And we asked the salesman, we said, why are these all sitting here? Don't people want these? And he said, no, I've got 6 people right now waiting for the much fancier
Much more expensive.
version of it, which has the big screen, the leather seats, which costs $10,000 more. So apparently, what you guys write in the comments, which is what
Everything is expensive.
Everything's too expensive, and what actually people buy is something completely different. So I'm wondering if actually people are that price sensitive. If it's not one of these instances where in the comments people are very price sensitive, but then when they actually go out to buy this vehicle,
They buy with their heart.
they
you're
buy
saying.
with their heart, not with their head. So
Okay.
that's another dynamic that I think is playing out there. Anyway, we'd love to get your opinion. We read all of our comments. I'm sure you have your own take on this, and I'd love to know it.
But Roman, the Rhino.
I see the Rhino.
I have to point out that we pulled this off of the console, center console. They have a new logo.
Nice work
Rhino.
to our team. Yeah. So, but once again, Andre, why? If you say the word TRX, everybody's like, oh wow, Raptor, our competitor. And now people are like, what the heck is an RHO? You have to do all this brand building, and you've got a perfectly good, brand sitting out there that people long for. And now you're creating an entirely different one. I don't get it.
Okay. Well, I don't work for Ram.
Nope. And yes, Ram, I do want to drive it. Now that they'll never invite me to it again. Thankfully, you'll go.
I want to drag race them.
Yeah,
I want to drag race all of them and take them off road.
of course.
Yes.
And we'll do that. Hopefully, if I didn't screw the pooch. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.